Curious George Harvest Hoedown. It was a special day in the country. The Rankinses had invited everyone to a hoedown at their barn to celebrate the harvest. George wasn't sure what a hoedown was, but getting ready for one sure was fun. The Mr. Rankins was explaining to George and his friend Aloud that a hoedown was a big party with hay rides and square dancing. And the best part is the live bluegrass music, he added. Bluegrass is lightning fast, foot-stomping music that would make you want to jig its a hood. Mr. Rankin said with a laugh. Suddenly, George and Allie heard music in the distance. Everyone ran outside and saw a double-decker bus pulling up to the barn. There were musicians on the top deck. Mrs. Rankins introduced the group as the Uptown Bluegrass Band. George had never seen so many instruments before. There was a banjo, a fiddle, an upright bass, and a mandolin. And the very last instrument was a guitar, played by a man named Jerry. The guitar looked like the most fun to play. George and Allie oohed and ahed over Jerry's dazzling guitar. "Do you like my guitar?" Jerry asked. "I made it myself." George and Allie were amazed. "It was easy," Jerry said. "Anyone can make a guitar if you have the right parts." "I'll use to play the bluegrass guitar too," the man with the yellow hat said. Jerry invited him to play with the band at the hoedown, but the man wasn't sure. Besides, he left his guitar at home. "George and I will go get your guitar," Allie said, and they ran off toward the house. Back at the house, George found his friend's guitar. He brought it outside to show Allie, but it was covered in dust. "Let's give it a bath," Allie said. "Grandma says there's nothing like a bath to make you bright and shiny." So George and Allie put the guitar in the tub and gave it a good scrub. "Uh-oh," Allie said as she looked at the soggy instrument. The bath hadn't made the guitar shiny at all. It made it lumpy and peely. George needed another guitar for the man to play at the hoedown and fast. Then he remembered what Jerry had said. Anyone can make a guitar, you just need the right parts. George knew just what to do. He'll make a new one. The first thing George and Allie needed was a box with a hole in it just like a guitar. First they tried a shoebox, then a crayon box, but both were flimsy and didn't have holes. The tissue box cover had a hole, but there was no back. Then George saw something that looked perfect, a birdhouse. It had a hole and it was sturdy. "Now we need something long and wooden to put strings on," Allie said. So she searched the house and came back with a spoon with a long handle, but it was too skinny. Next, they tried a paper towel tube, but it was unraveled. Nothing was working. George was getting worn out, so he sat on the floor to think. He looked around and realized this tennis racket was perfect. Finally, George's instrument was starting to look like his friend's guitar, except it needs bumps on a long wooden part. Chopsticks would do the trick. George glued some onto the tennis racket and waited for them to dry. Next, George and Allie needed guitar strings. Allie found a basket full of things that might work. There are shoestrings, a yo-yo trick, some fishing line, a picture wire, and a rubber band. George couldn't decide which to use, so he used them all. George and Allie were almost done, but they still needed a way to attach the strings onto the top of their guitar. George noticed that the picture wire had found earlier was attached to a frame by hardware that turned just like the pegs on the man's guitar. They were perfect. George was proud of his new guitar. It looked great. Just then, the man with the yellow hat came home with Jerry. When the man saw his socket guitar, he couldn't believe his eyes. "What happened?" he asked. Don't worry, Mr. Yellow Pants, Allie said. You can still play tonight. We made you a new guitar. This is great, Jerry said. Bluegrass music has a tradition of using found objects like washboards and spoons. No one's ever seen an instrument like this. It's a shoestring, fishing line, yo-yo pitcher wire, tennis racket, birdhouse, rubber band, Olin. George and Allie giggled. That night, everyone arrived for the hoedown. George's friend joined the band and played his new instrument. Folks danced and sang and had a great time, especially George and Allie, who got to play the washboard and spoons. It was a hoot. The end.